Hello and welcome back to the lesson. In this video, we're going to be talking about div elements in HTML. Well, div elements in HTML are used as a container for other HTML elements. It's often used to group sections of web pages together. For instance, as you can see now, we have a couple of HTML elements right here. We have a H2, we have paragraph, and another paragraph down below here. So all these are individual elements. So what if we wanted to group these separate HTML elements together so that we can manipulate, add styling, or do whatever to this separate HTML element all at once? So this is basically where the idea of div elements in HTML arises. It is basically used to group HTML elements together. It provides a division inside of our web pages. So let's go ahead and see how we achieve that in HTML. Now let's come over here. To define a div tag, all you need to do is come over here and say div div and hit enter, and then we're going to go ahead and expand our div or div element right here. So we're going to go ahead and copy every element, every other separate element, cut this and paste it right within our div tag like so. Let me actually adjust this, alright, for readability purpose. So now all of our elements right here are grouped together within the div or div container right here. So now everything is grouped as one element. Now if I should go ahead and save our file, as you can see, nothing happened. There's no any visual changes, but we can go ahead and target our div elements and apply some styling to it. Let's actually go ahead and use the internal styling right inside of our HTML head. We're going to go ahead and say style, and within our style we're going to target our div element, and then inside our definition block I'm going to go ahead and add a background color. Say background color, and let me actually go ahead and select the brown right here. Alright, let's go ahead and save our file. As you can see, now we have applied a styling, a background color to our div, and now we can actually add a fixed width to our container, our div container. So let's go ahead and see how we go about that. We're going to go ahead and use the width CSS property. Alright, I'm going to set the width to, let's say, 300 pixels, semicolon, save our file. As you can see, now our container, our div or div container has a fixed width of 300 pixels. Let's actually go ahead and reduce it down to 200. Alright, save. Alright, as you can see now it's 200 pixels. Let's actually change it to 250 to give our text even more room. Okay, I think this is perfect. And remember the pattern property that we've used in our previous video? We can actually go ahead and use that right here, pattern. This property actually provides an internal space inside of our container right here. So there's going to be a space within our element, our div element. So let's go ahead and say 10 pixels, save our file. As you can see now we have a more space within our element. And we can as well center align our div element right here using the margin. So we're going to go ahead and say margin and set our margin to automatic. So it's going to be in between the left and right, top and bottom. So let's go ahead and save our file. Our div element is not centered. Okay, why? Let's actually refresh our page. Alright, as you can see now it's centered. The reason why it's not centered in the first place is because our page refused to auto load, but now when I refresh the page, everything is now okay. Now we have centered align our div element. Alright, and we can as well have multiple div elements inside of our web pages. Let's come down here, paste this, and this time around we're going to say Rome, and right here we're going to say Rome is the capital of Italy, and it has 3 million inhabitants. Alright, so let's go ahead and save our file. Our page is not auto loading. I don't know why. Okay, now we have our Rome. Let's actually get rid of the margin right here. Let's comment it out and save it. Or instead, let's actually go ahead and add a margin top. Let's say margin dash top. Alright, we're going to set it to, let's say, 20 pixels. Save our file. Refresh our page. Now we're going to get some 20 pixels gap in between our div element. Alright, and we can simply align our div elements side by side instead of one on top of each other as it is now. So let's actually go ahead and use the float CSS property. So I'm going to go ahead and say float, and we're going to say we wanted to float it to left. So I'm going to say left and save our file, refresh. Alright, as you can see now, our div elements are aligned side by side. So as you can see, there's no gap in between them. It's because right here I'm specifying only the margin for top, but let's actually go ahead and remove it and say only margin. So it's now going to apply it to all angle, both for the top, left, right, and bottom. So we're going to go ahead and save our file, refresh our page. As you can see, our div elements are now stacked on top of each other, even though we said they should be floated to the left. Well, it's because of the screen size. This space is not enough for this one to be next to the other one. So we're going to go ahead and expand it. And as you can see, now we have our div elements aligned side by side. Alright, so friend, that will be it for this video. I hope now the concept of using div elements to group your HTML elements is very much clear to you and that you enjoyed this lesson, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.